I was listening to a Ram Dass podcast earlier, and there were two stories that I wanted to share. So the first one is about this guy that chains himself to trees and tries to stop bulldozers, and he was really concerned about the rainforest. So Ram Dass says to him, "Tell me, what's the situation? What's it going to take?" And the guy says, "Well, to my understanding, it would take a miracle." And he saw Ram Dass's despair, and he immediately began to say then that we came from the ocean, so he's not losing hope. And I thought that was a nice reminder, like if something that big can happen, miracles could happen in even the smallest places, and it doesn't mean we have to step away from love. So the second story was a really funny one. It was about a story that he mentioned came from a book that he co-wrote with somebody. And in the story, there's this really dirty laborer who's completely belligerently drunk, and he's acting super aggressive. And he barrels in, runs into this mother holding a baby, and this mother crashes into this elderly couple, and everybody immediately has this fear response. And in the crowd is this old man, and the old man's like, "Hey, what are you drinking?" And the laborer is like, "Sake, what's it to you?" And the old man's like, "Oh, I love sake. Every night my wife and I bring a little bit of sake down to the garden, and we sit there on our wooden bench admiring the persimmon tree, and we always wonder, is that persimmon tree going to bounce back from the frost last winter? And it's doing great." And he looks and he sees the old man's face start to soften, and he says, "Oh, I love persimmons too." And the old man says to him, "Yeah, you must have a lovely wife too." And the laborer says, "My wife died." And the old man's like, "Oh my gosh, that must be so challenging. I can't even imagine. Why don't you come over here and tell me about it?" And the guy telling the story says he looks back one last time, and the drunken laborer is laying down on a bench with his head on the old man's lap, and the old man stroking his dirty face, and they were connecting. And the moral of the story is, who has the adequacy to open their hearts to love in any situation? Because the moment that you feel fear and you begin to fight, you're... It's okay. A bunch of wet dogs just came over and jumped on me. But anyway, and I didn't feel fear. But, I'm taking it back now. So who has the adequacy to open their heart to the situation? Because the moment that you feel fear and you begin to fight, you're out of touch with the nature of everything. And, they talked about, Ram Dass talked about a martial art called Aikido, which believes that. So yeah, it was really funny to hear him tell the story.